Are you ready for my April book haul? A little while back I did a video for a library book sale haul, so I will just kind of go through them very quickly because you probably have already seen them. A lot of these books are sort of like, I don't know, like if you'd call them modern classics, but they're books that have become really popular and well read over the years, so I was really excited to grab these up. I think I paid $0.25 for each one, which is awesome. So even if these sit on my shelf for a little while and I maybe don't get to them right away, it's okay because these books are kind of older. John Irving, The Cider House Rules. Alice Munro, Open Secrets. Love in the Time of Cholera. Gabriel Marquez. A Million Little Pieces by James Fry. Girl with Curious Hair by David Foster Wallace. Holes by Louis Sachar. Atonement by Ian... Oh, this is a movie tie-in cover. Is this a movie? This feels like a movie tie-in cover. Yeah. Oh well, it was $0.25, but still. Blech. And this book, it's called Pleasures and Problems of a Rock Garden. I bought it because it's old looking and it's really pretty, and I'm gonna do some kind of like fun, crafty thing with it. Now for the other books that I purchased this month. I went to a friend's wedding in North Carolina and did a little bit of traveling, so while we were there, we stopped at a thrift store, and I found Let It Snow by John Green, Maureen Johnson, and Lauren, is it pronounced Miracle? Miracle? I don't know. I haven't heard like the best things about this, but it is a book of short stories, and it is about snow and winter, and one of the 2015 reading challenges is to read a book that takes place in winter, so I'm thinking that this might be that one. And even if the short stories aren't the greatest, they're short stories, so it's usually easier to get through a bad collection of short stories than a bad novel. I don't know. I want to give it a try. On that same trip, we went to it was just a regular bookstore, I guess, but it had a used book section, and I happened across Their Eyes Were Watching God by Zora Hurston. I've just heard so many people talk about this one. I think it's definitely one of those, like, important books, and it was like $3 or something. I don't know. This one, actually, it's kind of interesting. I didn't flip through it before I bought it, but it has a lot of highlighting and underlining, and there's even some notes written in it. And I usually, honestly, probably wouldn't buy a book that had that, but as I was going through, I was kind of disappointed, honestly, when I first opened it up and flipped through and saw all of the marks, because I thought, now my interpretation and reading of this book is going to be tainted by this other person's interpretation. But then I read some of the notes, and she like points out things like paradox, describes people or something, suggesting manual labor, and I thought, you know what? If this was a book that she, or he, I'm assuming, I don't know why I'm assuming it's a she, it kind of looks like feminine handwriting, but it could totally be masculine. But if this person read this book for... Oh, Susan Foster, there. It is a woman. If Susan read this book for some kind of a class or something, there's a good chance that she probably will read it way more, or did read it way more in-depthly than I will, because I'm not reading it for a class and doing any kind of analysis for it. So, I don't know. When I started really looking at the notes, it actually intrigued me. Then I heard Earl, who I watch a lot of her videos, talk about how she has recently started annotating her books. And that's really interesting. I think that I would love to read a copy of a friend's book that has all of their notes in it and their thoughts and opinions, because, well, it's great to talk about a book. You never remember every little thing that you're thinking while you were reading it, so I would love that. And I actually thought if an author would do something like that, annotate a copy of their book, like, hey, when I wrote this, I was listening to this song, or I wrote this while I was on vacation in Ireland, or whatever the case may be, or even just like, haha, this was the name of my first dog. Like, I don't know. There's goofy little tidbits that always seem to work their ways into your writing. I know mine do all the time. I could write lots of little notes about my stories, and I think that would be amazing. So that's way off on a side note, but anyway. Then also at, I think this was just my regular library. They have like a shelf that always has used books, and they change from time to time, so I always glance them. And I happened to pick up Stephen King, Mr. Mercedes, and Revival for, I think these were $1 each. And these both have like really fun, these like iridescent, shiny covers. that are awesome. And it's Stephen King, and they were $1 each, so you can never go wrong with that. Oh, let's see. The Fifth Wave. So this one I bought for regular price, but I think I got it at Walmart. I have mixed feelings about buying books at Walmart. Same thing with Amazon, because I know that they sell them at a loss, and there's a whole thing with that. But I mean, I guess I buy them at full price, so in the end, if I pay Walmart less than they paid, that's on Walmart, and the author and the publisher get compensated. Maybe it's not really that big of a deal. But either way, every once in a while Walmart will have something, usually especially on paperback, and the price is usually a significant amount cheaper than even the cover price. The cover on this one is $10.99. I think this was like $8 something, so several dollars cheaper, and I could have it right now. Not that I'm going to read it right now, so why does that matter? But it always does. But I didn't have to pay shipping, so that counts. So I've been wanting to read this book for a while. The paperback, I don't know, kind of caught my eye because it has these interesting chapter pages. Not like illustrations or anything, but I don't know. I like books that have fun little interesting things like that. Not that it's like so amazing, but it's cool. I've been wanting to read this book for a while. I think they're making it a movie. There's another book out already. It has something to do with an alien race. It's like the fifth wave of attacks or something. I don't know. Most of these books that I bought, I really don't actually know much about. Anyway, this one I do know a lot about. Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl by Jesse Andrews. And mostly I know about this one because I heard a lot of YouTubers talking about it. And I think this is one of those books that I'm like maybe the last YouTuber to not have read it. I think it did the rounds a while back, but it's now being made into a movie. So I love book to movie adaptations, and anytime I hear that a book's being made into a movie, I am that much more likely to go out and read the book quickly before the movie comes out. I have heard that this, while it comes off slightly Fault in Our Stars-ish, it is not like that book. Did I actually see a trailer? I think I actually watched a trailer and I heard somebody talk about it very passionately. I forget who that was. Sorry. Anyway, she loves this book. But basically there is a girl who's been diagnosed with, I forget which cancer, some kind of cancer. And Earl, no, not Earl, me, whoever the me is, I don't even know his name, Greg, my name is Greg Gaines, I am 17, I am the one who wrote this book. My physical appearance is unsatisfactory, and there is probably a fungus eating my brain. I'm not even sure I'm human. Okay, this book already sounds funny because the character sounds awesome. Apparently, Greg's mother has sort of commended him to befriend this girl who's dying. She said she's lonely, she needs a friend, go be her friend. And Greg brings his friend Earl along as sort of company and buffer, and from what I gather, they all sort of become friends. I have heard that it is not a romance, and I would assume she dies at the end. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe she lives. It'd probably make me cry, but it seems like it's worth it. I have been talking a lot about the Daughter of Smoke and Bone series. You've probably heard me talk about it on other videos. I have been listening to it on audiobook, and it is one of 3 so far purchased on audiobook. I will be buying the rest on audiobook, but as I was looking around for other things, actually I think I found this when I was looking for Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl. I just happened to find a hardcover in really like perfect condition for like $2 on Amazon. With the shipping, it was like $6. So that's like cheaper than Book Outlet even, and I really couldn't pass it up. Yeah, so now that does mean that I'm gonna have to buy the other 2 on hardcover as well, so I will be looking for a good price on those since I have already read it. Not really in a hurry, but you know, there are some books that I just love so much that I feel a need to own, and this is one of them, even though I'm unfortunately not really crazy about the covers for this book. I think the cover is so much better. But anyway, it's not about the cover, it's about the story and the characters. Karel, you just need to forgive and keep up. Move on. I really need to read book 3. It's breaking my heart. The last book I am super excited about for a number of reasons, and it is J.R.R. Tolkien's Beowulf. Okay, well, first of all, Beowulf has been one of my, like, books that I need to read on my list forever. But it's also a harder book to read because it's older and just the language, and I just haven't gotten around to it. I think one time I did, like, start listening to it on audiobook because sometimes for me, the, like, classic books are easier on audiobook, like Dickens. I have to listen to Dickens on audiobook because I just can't. But Beowulf is the opposite. There's no way I could listen to it on the audiobook and get anything out of it. The same thing happened with Frankenstein. I actually tried to listen to it on the audiobook and I was just lost. So I'm gonna have to read that one on paper. It doesn't happen very often. Usually audiobook is more enjoyable and I read a ton on audiobook, so I very, very rarely have any kind of issue with audiobook where I feel like I need to read the print book, but on occasion those books come along. Beowulf is one of them. When I heard that Tolkien had a translation and it was going to be released, I was super excited. This one actually has a commentary with it, so I just think it's going to be amazing. I hope it's amazing. I'd like to say that I'm going to read I don't know how many translations there are. Is this like Les Miserables where there's like 50 translations? I don't know. I'd like to think that I would read other translations, but that's probably not going to happen unless this is a story that I absolutely fall in love with and feel the need to read multiple translations. I received this book as a gift, and here's the other thing that makes it exciting. I got this book as a graduation present from the program at Carleton University, which is where I just recently got my MFA in creative writing. When you do your final defense and get your diploma, they always have a little gift for the student, and this was mine. So I'm very excited. This cover is amazing. It's one of those matte finish, but it's on textured paper. What is that? I guess it's like it's not a laid finish. It's like a vellum-y finish. I mean, vellum comes in different finishes, but this one is like a highly textured vellum, if that makes any sense. But I don't know. It's just cool looking. And with the commentary, hopefully that will take care of anything that I don't understand or am lost about, and it's Tolkien, so I was looking to see if there's any kind of like interesting pictures or drawings, and there's not, but whatever. So that's it. That's a bunch of books. I don't know how this happens. I never start out thinking I'm gonna buy any books for the month because I have so many. Then I just stumble upon them, or something happens and I feel the need to read them, and then I go buy them. It's not intentional, but every month I feel like I say the same thing. I'm trying not to buy books right now because I have so many that I haven't read. Yet I bought a bunch of books. Oh well. I've added to my collection in my library. That's what I'm going with. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Bye bye.